Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
Science.
Urinates on its legs to cool him down. What about when he's not already cold? He still urinates on his legs.
To keep them warm.
That's what I was thinking.
Basically, he likes to urinate.
That's what I was thinking of. If I urinated on my legs, I'd be warmer.
Thank you, David Attenborough.
Village Idiom.
Hello, and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week we're going to choose a popular saying. Well, they're not all popular. But we're going to take an admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins. But for sure, we're going to use it as our otherwise, we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny. It's a little different day here at the ranch.
Yeah, we had to, but it's cushier. I could get used to sitting on a couch.
I could get used to a little couch, situation like that as well. But as many of you know, massive flood at the compound.
At the old studio.
Bam. Underwater.
I think we've gone through a few plagues now.
Yeah.
We had the ladybug infestation.
Yeah, the plague of locusts.
And now we've got flooding.
What else is in there? Frogs we need. We haven't done locusts.
Our firstborns are all gone. They won't be on the premises.
It's been very biblical over here as of late.
Yeah,
that's okay.
We've heard frogs, but
yeah,
we haven't been overrun by them. So we'll see how it goes.
Knee deep in frogs, some would say. Well, regardless, we just take things, kind of one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Kind of put one foot in front of the other, so to speak, and keep moving. If you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
How about, I was looking for a clip for this.
Sure.
This is a little glitchy, but I thought instead of just the words, this kind of set up its meaning as well. So listen.
Sure.
The people who invest with us believe your father walks on water.
The people who invest in us believe your father walks on water.
Sounds...
Walks on water.
Walking on water.
Walking on water, walks on water. That is today's idiom.
The closest I've come to observing such a thing is...
I thought you were going to say the closest you've come to walking on water.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, honestly, probably everyone at some point has tried to run across water. You're at a friend's swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're at the pool, friend's swimming place, and you're just like... I don't know if I go fast enough. Will I do dash from The Incredibles and skim across?
What's the Gila Monster or something? Not the Gila Monster. I can't remember which one.
The Gila Monster? Is it a Gila Monster or is it a Gila Monster? It sounds very French the way you say it. Like his name is Guy Le Monster.
Gila Monster.
Guy. And the third star number, troisième étoile. Guy Le Monster.
What is that little reptile that runs across the water?
A duck?
Okay, forget it. I'm not playing with you.
I don't know. A heron?
There's different animals that can run across the water, that can walk on the top, like certain insects.
Like a snowmobile going fast enough?
No, that lizard that's like across the pond.
Oh, you mean a Gila monster?
Is it?
No.
Oh.
it's and never mind that it's a Gila monster, I believe.
Is it a Gila?
I think so.
Gila.
With a G. It is with a G. I will give you that.
I'm going to Google animals that can walk on water.
Well,
We've got the common basilisk, the gecko, the grebes, the fishing spiders, lungfish. That's a fish. Doesn't walk on water.
It's ridiculous.
8 animals you never knew could walk on water. Ready?
I'm getting dumber just listening to this.
8 animals. So number one, that's the guy. The basilisk lizard, I guess, is where it's like 2 legs. Pygmy geckos can walk on water.
Wow.
Western grebes. Oh, that's a big bird.
Well,
is that what you meant by duck?
Maybe. Well, it's
that doesn't count. They've got dolphins when they're in that flap your tail motion. That's not walking. That's
no, but there's that recent it's like TikTok-y short video of that woman releasing her duck. And whatever its name is, like Harold, it's like, this is my duck, getting out into the water for the first time, and immediately it bolts it looks like it's running across the water.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
How about look at this creature, the fishing spider? You should Google this.
No, I'm good.
Unless you live in a houseboat.
Your Canadianness is showing.
Houseboat. Fire ants walk
on water.
If you saw, look at this, a water snail on the surface. That doesn't look real.
Okay, so I did come across this. So I was spending some time on holidays.
They crawl upside down on the water's surface. So they're underwater using the surface of the water
To prevent from sinking?
to prevent from sinking.
Well, that's kind of like cheating. I don't know. It's not quite a walking on water, walking under the water. Inverted. I'll give them inverted.
And the common German Shepherd.
So, 9. We were in Victoria, out in the Malahat, going on this thing, this new, tourist trap that's kind of like this 11-coiled tower that's
like a
out.
parkade.
Like a parkade,
the SeaTac airport.
except you walk it. And so then at the end, you're on this tower kind of out in nature, observing the Finlayson Arm. And it's all beautiful and everything's like fantastic about it. But you're so high that literally the birds, and so then it does this thing on birds, the eagles. But this one is the vulture. And so that nearby is there's all sorts of vultures. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. And so then it's got, of course, information plaques on special features of the vulture. And so we, of course, have to investigate. And so it's like the vulture urinates on its legs in order to cool itself down. In order to, dissuade other predators, the vulture will vomit everywhere. It's got these crazy tactics for, dealing with.
I know this guy.
Yeah. And so it's where you would notice something that big if it was in a tree. It's and so an eagle's nest, everyone go, oh, there's an eagle's nest. It's big, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
top of a tree. Where do vultures? And it's the vulture likes to live at ground level in the hollows of a tree. So you think at the base of a tree, kind of like that indented, rotten away internals. If you were walking through nature and you're going through the forest,
There's a buzzard in a tree stump.
and there's a buzzard comes running out of a tree stump. It's big.
Yeah.
It's got to have a 6-foot wingspan. It's enormous.
Wow.
If that comes running out, vomiting at you, stinking like whiz.
So it says it urinates on its legs to cool down. Can it choose to not urinate on its legs?
Would you?
I'm just saying, can he aim? Is it to cool down, or is that the only option it's got? And it happens to cool him down.
Maybe. I don't know. Science.
Urinates on its legs to cool him down. What about when he's not already cold? He still urinates on his legs
To keep them warm.
That's what I was thinking.
Basically, he likes to urinate.
That's what I was
on his
thinking of.
legs.
If I urinated on my legs, I'd be warmer.
Thank you, David Attenborough. Yeah, it's a bizarre tactic. But anyways, the idea that at ground level, if this giant turkey vulture thing pops out of a tree like a Keebler elf, minus the cookies, shoot and vomit, you're just going to freak out.
Yeah, that's out of folklore right there.
Yeah, that's terrifying. So anyways, it's not quite walking on water.
No, not even close.
We're talking about things that could walk on water.
And they can't.
And then that's one of the things that can't.
But they put water on what they walk with.
Whoa. To keep themselves cool or warm.
Oh, maybe
in the winter.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not a temperature thing. It's to look cool.
Check this out.
Check this out.
Watch this.
Yeah, that just happened.
His friends are like, just go, man. Just go. He's
Wait,
like,
one more.
Okay.
Wait, I don't think you won her over. Oh, watch it. Oh,
Sticks his feathers. Sticks his
talon.
talon down his throat.
Yeah.
Check this out, guys.
Throws up. Okay, so once again, this is today's idiom. Let's try this one. Grey's Anatomy.
She thinks your husband walks on water.
You think someone walks on water, or you say that person thinks they walk on water. And in case we haven't said this, the reason it's an idiom is because you never refer to someone who walks on water, or they think they walk on water, as they actually as a fact. It means that person thinks they're godlike, or you think of that person as a god. Like, they can do no wrong. They walk on water to you. That's how it's used as an idiom.
Did you ever camp with us at Silver Lake?
Yeah.
Okay, so Silver Lake is at the lake is at the base of a valley. It's been beaver dammed off, so it's quite deep, but it used to be forested. Mm-hmm. So when you go diving, the trees are in the water.
Right.
And so that's kind of it's cool. But so at surface level, everything's rotten off, but just inches below surface level is the
The life,
the top of
Yeah.
like a 60-foot tree. Anyways, yeah, so we would go out there and put like a lawn chair, so it looked like you were like not walking on water, but
just
sitting on water,
hovering.
Yeah, we'd swim out to like find a tree, get the chair all propped up proper, and then sit in the chair and have people take pictures. Yeah,
I never saw that when I was there. I think I just did day trips to visit while you guys were there.
it's as close as I've been to.
I remember paintball in the woods and stuff.
That was another good juicy one.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's all these little fun things of life. When I was looking up in terms of water, it turns out that babies have a higher water concentration than adults.
What do you mean, like internally?
No, that there are more water than like as you age.
Because a human is what, 85%.
So as an adult, so I was reading this because I'm like, and then it starts. Is it a misconception that adults or people are 90 whatever percent water? And so it was saying that like 60% of an adult is water.
Okay, 60.
Whereas into a baby, it could be 70 to 80% of its body weight. What does it say here? A normal neonate, premature baby respective, could be 70 to 80% of its body weight is water.
What about a watermelon?
What about a watermelon baby?
Whoa.
A young watermelon, basically just water.
It's just water. So if a human is 60% water and a watermelon is 80% water, I'm just guessing, would that mean our DNA is only off by 20%? We're mostly watermelon?
I think the science works out.
That's math, right?
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. That makes a ton of sense. I'm actually hyper curious where this idiom actually comes from.
Really? You don't know?
I have one strong idea.
Yeah, I think you're probably. I didn't even play the game like give you 3 choices because I'm like, we're gonna know. Although when I did research it, I was surprised with some of the things I came up with.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of went with my one thing and assumed that it's correct.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That thing I'm thinking about right now. That's the thing.
That's the thing that's correct. But it wasn't the only option.
I actually find that hard to believe.
I know. We're going to get in. Should we get into it?
We should probably get into it. Let's find out where this came from.
Because I was sort of surprised as different things that came up.
Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
All right, well, you might as well let the cat out of the bag what you were thinking. Where does this idiom come from?
I'm thinking it's of biblical proportions. It's got the Lord written all over it.
It really does.
Walking on water.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jesus.
So, of course, and this is what
Jesus
any person
walking on water.
Any person would probably say, unless they've literally somehow not heard the story of Jesus walking on water, you would say, "Oh, it must be from the story and the account." And I'll read the actual verses where in the Bible it talks about Jesus walking on water. So here's the 2 surprises.
Okay.
Then we'll get into the obvious origin of Jesus. This one came up. It comes from a Japanese myth about a ninja.
A ninja, you
thought
say?
to be associated with Mizugomo. Say it with me, Mizugomo.
Mitsubishi.
So I looked up the Mizugomo because apparently by wearing the Mizugomo, a ninja's weight is distributed to a wider area so that he could walk on water. And so I looked it up. You can find pictures of Mizugomos. It's basically, think snowshoes. It just disperses your weight.
Okay.
But in this legend of this ninja, if you you find lots of stuff about it makes ninjas walk on water. The Mizugomo allows them to walk on water. It never does. In any actual textual folklore, it allows them to walk on mud without sinking. So it's mud shoes. It's not walk on water shoes.
Makes complete sense.
But it just has grown to the Mizugomo allows the ninja to walk on water. So that one's eliminated right away, even though it is offered up as a potential origin story to the idiom walking on water. And I will say this before we even get to the second, obviously wrong origin story, is when I found anything not Jesus related, it was taking huge artistic license to say anything but Jesus. So
it's like they're trying to not use it.
It's trying so hard to just say, can't be Jesus. He gets all the credit. No, not this one. Not this one, Jesus. So you probably are familiar with Egyptian god Horus.
Oh, yeah.
So there are similarities in the story of Horus about, virgin birth and things like that, which if you actually go down and read about Horus, most of the things that they've compared to being very similar to Jesus, as in the people who are a little more anti the Christ story tend to lean on, like Zeitgeist, that documentary, if you want to call it that, tended to lean on, well, look at the story of Horus. And they connect all the dots, being born of a virgin. I can't even remember all now. Just recently looked at it too. But walking on water and a variety of things, all leaning to the same. And they say, oh, the story of Jesus was just the Hebrews or whoever wrote the Bible copying the story of Horus that already existed. So the problem is Horus never lived. Horus is an Egyptian god of folklore. You can believe that he's real if you want, but he was never a living human being to walk on water. There is no record of him walking on water. That's just one of those things where they've now, down the road, this many years later, have attributed almost every Jesus miracle or godlike character to say, oh, well, Horus did that first. It's not even actually true. You can read about the Egyptian version of Horus, and most of it is not true, but a lot of people have given Horus the credit of things that Jesus did. The difference also is, archaeologically, historically, Jesus was a real person with witnesses of what he did of some of these things. So those are the two that were really met with dead ends, but some people are out there fighting the not-so-good fight to say it's ninjas and Horus.
So outside of it being not ninjas and Horus, have you come across, so even in like Bible record, that Jesus at his birth, his parents, his dad, Joseph, had that dream that Herod was going to come and get him,
right,
and went to Egypt.
Yeah.
And so the Bible record is that Jesus went to Egypt, and then we don't see him again for like another 12 years.
Okay.
So this missing decade of like, what was young Jesus doing?
He was in America.
Is that what he was doing?
Isn't that what the Mormons say?
Is he with Joseph Smith or something?
I think that's what happened.
He's hanging out with, it's like young Frankenstein, but young Jesus.
Yeah. I bet there's some
hanging out, carving tablets.
I bet there's some good stories in that 10 years. I mean, do you want every minute of your first 10 years to be on record?
Average person, not so much.
But Jesus would be pretty interesting.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, would have definitely been fascinating.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, bottom line is, anybody with any, even just forget being religious or Christian, anybody with any sort of literary sense obviously gives the credit to Jesus, the Messiah, as being, if not, even if you don't believe he did it, they give him the credit for this as an idiom.
Interestingly, he only did it before, like all the crucifixion and everything, because afterwards the water would go through his feet, and then he'd start sinking.
Because the holes in his feet?
Yeah, if you think about that.
You're saying the only reason he could walk on water is because his feet were like mini boats?
I'm just saying we don't know, because there's no record of him walking on water afterwards.
That's a good point.
So we don't know.
I heard this one today, or not this week, today, but this week. I'm throwing this in here now, and I want to give credit. It's a comedian, and I'm going to get it wrong because I've never heard of him before, but I think it was like Mosey Reinfeld.
Wow.
Modi Reinfeld.
Okay.
Anyway, this is his joke, not mine.
Sure.
A Jewish man goes into the synagogue, seeks out a rabbi. He's like, Rabbi, I don't know what to do. My son, he's left home. He's gone out into the world, and I don't know what to do. He's become a Christian. And the rabbi's like, have I got a story for you? My son left our home, went out into the world, and became a Christian too. What are we going to do? And so they like, well, there's only one thing we can do. We need to pray. So the rabbi and this Jewish man, they stop, they kneel, they pray to the Lord Almighty, and God says, have I got a story for you?
That's so funny. I really like that. That's a clever joke.
I know, I laughed.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so anyway. So in the book of Matthew, chapter 14, starting at verse 22, I'm just going to read it. This is clearly the story. You know, even though we've already knocked off the ninjas, we've knocked off Horus as the origin of this idiom, and the fact that Horus didn't walk on water, even in Egyptian literature, I'm pretty sure that just by fame alone, Jesus would still get the credit for
Oh, he's got this
this
story
idiom.
sewn up.
Yeah, it's his.
It's his.
Even if it wasn't his.
It's his.
Yeah. So anyway.
But even if it wasn't,
It's still his.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Starting in verse 22. Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain to pray by himself. When evening came, he was there alone. But the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear, but Jesus immediately spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand, took hold of him, saying, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So that is
Amen.
It's in 3 of the 4 Gospels, but that's the Matthew version.
Okay. Pray with us, everyone.
I see that hand.
You're very close to the full sermon right there. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
you need a poem now? You got a quick one?
I'll wrap it up with this. If Jesus can walk on water, and his first miracle was turning water into wine, is it not probable he could walk on wine?
Wow, that's like saying it's easier for Jesus to walk on a baby because they're higher water concentration than an adult. It's just so you're basically saying that Jesus walked on babies. Wow.
Let the children come.
He used babies like flotation devices.
That's why. That's how he did it.
He just wrapped babies around
Buoyant
him. Guys,
babies.
don't worry about this storm. He's got babies wrapped around him. A little too far, maybe.
So yeah, there you go. There's this one version, one of the Gospels take on Jesus walking on water. Clearly, the origin of, even as believers in Jesus and that he did walk on the water, that aside, he is the origin story for this idiom.
Do you have an alternate walking on water, like where you were thought of so highly that's like, that guy walks on water?
About myself?
Sure.
No, nobody's ever thought that of me. Are you kidding?
No.
I mean, maybe
Is it just that-
maybe my 2 older boys when they were 5 and 7.
Is it just that we'd think of someone as like, oh, they've got it so together, but that guy walks on water, or that girl walks on water? Or,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's been people that I've, even my own dad, I'm like, can do no wrong. That guy's amazing. But nobody's ever, I don't think I've ever been elevated in anybody's eyesight, other than maybe my 2 boys when they were children. Like, that's dad. He can do anything. I remember they used to come home from school, and I already knew either from the teacher or from their mom about what happened in their day. And I'm like, Tyron, look at me in the eyes. It was hot dog day at school today, was it? How did you know that? And I only ever answered with, "I'm your father." And so for years, they like keep their gaze down.
That's amazing. I think you just looked at my soul.
Yeah. Oh, I heard another joke. It was two mind readers come up to each other.
Okay.
Because I was pretending like I could read the mind of my kids.
You're like Kreskin.
Two mind readers approach each other. One says, "You're fine, how am I?"
That's a great mind reader.
Anyway, stupid.
Are we getting into riddling time?
We are. I didn't realize.
Okay.
All right. Well, should we then?
Yeah. Let's do some riddling.
All right.
Get this
Riddling
baby
is a game
closed
we
up.
like to play. It takes a 2-part trivia-based question, requires a 2-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, or words. So, for example, last week during our idiom, which was under the weather. Oh, we've got a Bible thing. I just realized. We left you with this one. James and John, Zebedee's kids, they weren't feeling that great.
That will be Sons of Thunder the Weather.
That's how you play. It's not Sons of Thunder. It's not Under the Weather. The correct answer is Sons of Thunder the Weather. That's how you play riddling.
Well, I've got a couple prepared.
I've got 4.
Okay.
3. I've got 3.
Okay, well, I'll go first.
I have too many.
Ready?
Yep.
Illegitimate children, feel free to yell and see if you can beat Jurassic Mark on this one. I'll read it twice.
That'd be nice.
Michael Jackson's signature dance move resembles Jesus' Moisture March.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Michael Jackson's signature dance move resembles Jesus' signature dance move.
Resembles Jesus' signature dance move.
That would be
moonwalking
on water.
Moonwalking on water. That's so funny.
That was great. Okay, you ready for one?
It was his Moisture March.
Yeah, I know. That's good alliteration.
I was working alliterations for you. Okay, what do you got?
Jesus performed this miracle with a deadly snake. Jesus performed this miracle with a deadly H2O snake.
I'm going to go with a Walk.On.Water asp.
No. Oh, I thought you'd get this one.
His signature miracle? Walking on
water is right.
Otter.
Do you know a snake called the water
polo? Water
moccasin. Water moccasin.
Is that water moccasin?
Yeah. It's a poisonous swimming snake.
I got beat by for sure by the Village Idiom.
Walk on water moccasin, which you don't want to do, by the way.
Okay.
You do not want to walk on a walk-on
Okay.
You do not want to walk on a water.
Walking on water with a water moccasin. Thanks, Eminem.
I give up.
It's Eminem.
Moon walking on water.
Here we go.
Yep.
Jesus' Pond Promenade with Bobby Boucher.
What?
Jesus' Pond Promenade with Bobby Boucher.
For some reason, I was thinking of Days of, or what's the race car thing with Will Ferrell?
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. But I'm gonna go with Walking on Water Boy.
Walking on Water Boy.
Very nice.
You got it.
How about I still have two, so I'll give you one and I'll leave one.
Sure, I thought for sure we would.
That's why I
double up on the moonwalk.
That's why I did an extra one because I felt like we were going to have some copies too. So I'll give you this one to see if you were paying attention to me today. These ninja mud shoes are like a cellular. Do you remember what we called them? These ninja mud shoes.
No, not at all.
Oh, by the way, I'll come back to it.
A water moccasin.
No, the Mizugomo. Was the ninja mud shoe.
I was busy thinking of something stupid to say.
Is like a cellular.
I said, yes, Mitsubishi. And
that's
I was
right.
immediately screwing it with it and wiped it right out of my mind. Mizugomo
is like a cellular.
Like a cellular? Oh, man. Go mobile? Go.
Yeah.
Mizugomo mobile phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, well, that was a struggle.
Wow.
wish I had left that one at home.
That's okay.
Well, I got one more for everybody else. You can tell them how they can play along.
The legitimate children, we would love to hear from you on Instagram at the.village.idiom. Email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the X.
The what? Oh, right. I just heard about that.
Yeah. We'll have to get.
Is that official?
I don't know. We'll have to get an account sorted out.
All right.
At 3 minutes gone.
Here it is. It's not quite running, but can be 7 to 9 kilometers an hour while doing this aquatic miracle.
Oh my!
It's not quite running, but it can be 7 to 10 kilometers per hour while doing this aquatic miracle.
That's 3 minutes.
Did you just get it?
That's good. That's good. I like it.
Do you remember? It was a couple weeks ago, and I said, "How much more black can this be?" And you're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "People will get that. You either know or you don't." And I'm like, "Dang, I'll get it." Yeah, he sent me a text.
Oh, did he?
It was a setup line from Spinal Tap.
Okay.
And the answer is none more black.
Okay.
And that's what he sent back to me. I just got a text. The answer is none more black.
That's funny. No, I didn't have a clue what you're talking about. But is what it is.
It is what it is.
Fancy. Well, the legitimate kids, great hanging out with you for a half an hour. We will catch up with you again next Thursday on the Village Idiom. I'm Skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Walk on the water.
That's 3 minutes gone.